Hey everybody, how's it going? Happy to see all of you. Happy Super Bowl weekend.
Football's so great.
I hope that everybody's doing well. I know I haven't made a video in a while. I just been busy with some shit, but I'm back, and over the last couple of weeks, I have been purchasing quite a bit of vinyl, so I wanted to show you some of my more recent vinyl pickups.
Carla won't approve. She thinks it's dumb to spend $600 on an LP.
Carla's right. Why don't you just spend $13 on a CD, man?
First of all, it's because I'm a Beatlemaniac. And
This is Alice in Chains' final studio album with Lane Staley. Heaven Beside You, I think, was probably the biggest hit on here. Grind, I think, was another one. Over Now also was a big hit off this record, but happy to finally have it on vinyl. This is actually, believe it or not, the first time I've owned this record in any format. I didn't have it on CD, never had it on cassette.
I can't believe you don't own this fucking record.
Had some of the earlier Alice in Chains stuff, but I never, in the course of my life, got around to picking this one up. So I'm glad that they reissued it, and I'm glad I was able to grab that one.
I never thought it would be like this. So hard to read you anymore. I don't wanna lose you tonight.
Found this one. This is Roger Waters' second proper studio album. This is Radio Chaos. I think a very polarizing album.
Why?
Just because I think the production is pretty dated. A lot of drum machines, kind of a lot of 80s production on here.
I hope I meet you face to face.
Trying to complete my Roger Waters collection, so I did want to grab that one. Still in the shrink, which I was happy about.
Because you're scum.
And then I've been getting into this band quite a bit. I already had two of their albums, thanks to Aaron Muth Alamare, but I really wanted to start exploring more of their catalog. So I picked up their second album. I'm talking about Wasp. This is The Last Command, which I really like. This has Wild Child and Blind in Texas on it. But a really great album. Really love this one. And the one that I like even more,
Because you're scum.
The Headless Children. I've seen a number of people show this on their channels and rave about it. Some people have said it's their favorite Wasp album. So I got this, was not disappointed. I love their cover of The Who's The Real Me on here. Thunderhead is pretty good. Mean Man, Mean Mother Effer. Love that track that opens up side 2. So yeah, I really dig this Wasp stuff. I've got 4 of their albums now, and we'll probably dive even deeper into their collection at some point. Speaking of collections that I'm diving deeper into, Dokken.
What did you say? What the fuck did you just say?
This is their first album, Breaking the Chains. I'd heard the song Breaking the Chains, but the rest of the record I really wasn't familiar with. But I did get Under Lock and Key a couple of weeks ago. Prior to that, I had Back for the Attack, and I really like both of those. So I'm like, I gotta get the earlier stuff.
Metal's dead.
This is on red vinyl, their first album, and then this is just on regular black vinyl. This is their second album, Tooth and Nail. I've just been in this really big 80s metal, I guess, mood lately. That's what I've been listening a lot to. So I've been picking up a lot of kind of that classic 80s metal.
Iron Maiden with our American allies, Kiss and Dave Lee Roth, supported by the allied forces of Megadeth, Guns N' Roses and Halloween.
Case in point, I grabbed these recently. I found in great condition. This is Rat's debut EP. Never heard anything off of this. I think there was a song or two on this Greatest Hits.
The dirty rat. Oh.
But people have said how great this is, so I was happy to find that in fantastic shape. And then I picked up their 4th full-length studio album. This is Reach for the Sky, which has got a really bizarre cover. Not a huge fan of that cover, but the songs themselves are great. So I'm getting deeper into my Rat collection now. I've got everything up to this point. I know I need to get Detonator next probably, but one of these days. Got some Gary Newman and his album Berserker. I don't remember, I can't keep track of his discography, but I really am getting heavily into Gary Newman. I love all his stuff. I've been a big fan of artists like Thomas Dolby and Kraftwerk and kind of like those early synth pioneers. And of course, Gary Newman fits right into that. But this is a 2-disc record. I don't think it was probably a 2-disc when it was originally released, but this is a remastered version, a reissue. It's on black vinyl. It's got a couple of bonus tracks on side 4 of the second disc, but I really like this, and this is him I think this was like in the mid to late 80s, so his sound is kind of evolving a little bit harder edged. But there hasn't been anything that I picked up by Gary Numan that I haven't liked, and this is no exception. So, I always thought he was kind of like a novelty, but people will say the same about Thomas Dolby. I always heard that song Cars, and I'm like, yeah, well, whatever. He was just kind of like this nerdy electronic, synth pop guy, and I didn't really pay it much attention, but seeing other people show Gary Numan, and I've really gotten more into his stuff, and it really is fantastic, so I'll definitely be picking up more along the way.
Nie eine Gebärde der Ungeduld, nie das Gefühl der Auflehnung.
I've been adding to my collection of this band. This is a reissue of David Coverdale's first Whitesnake album. This is a reissue. It doesn't say David Coverdale over the top, but I don't care, whatever. It's the same album, and it sounds great. I don't know why it took me so long to kind of get into Whitesnake, but after I heard Slide It In, I'm like, I love this band. I got to get more by them. Picked this one up as well. This one was in great shape. This is Ready and Willin'. I think this was from 1980. If I'm not mistaken. Still on the lookout for Saints and Sinners and some of the other ones. I can't think of the name. I'm just learning a little bit more about Whitesnake too as I go through their collection. This has Fool for Your Lovin' on it, the title track, Ready and Willing, Blind Man, Black and Blue, She's a Woman. Another band that I've been meaning to get into, and just, it's a matter of kind of stumbling onto their stuff when I'm out in the wild. And I found this, UFO Force It. This is a reissue from, I think, 2021 remaster. It's a 2-disc set. It's got some live stuff, live from the Record Plant, Los Angeles, 1975. 2 discs of that, and then the proper album on the first disc. I know Gary's a big UFO fan, and I don't really know that much about them. I know Michael Schenker was in the band. Don't know that much about them. I would recognize some of their album covers if I saw them, just because I've seen other people show UFO, but I really like their sound, harder edged, not really heavy metal, but kind of great hard rock. I know I need to get more. I have a UFO best of on CD, and I really like that. So I knew I wasn't going to be disappointed, but when I see more UFO in the future, I'll probably be picking more up.
Why?
Got this Beatles bootleg. It's a double disc set. It's called Sweet Apple Tracks. Essentially, it's a bunch of Get Back session outtakes, and the quality is okay. I mean, we're talking a lot of these recordings were made with some of the film equipment when they were making the movie, so they weren't like proper studio recordings, but it's still cool to have different versions. This has got the No Pakistanis Get Back riff that Paul McCartney, when he was first writing the song, which kind of got him into a bit of controversy. So you got a bunch of versions of the actual song Get Back. Susie Parker's on here. Their version of Norwegian Wood, Let It Be, Shakin' in the 60s, Good Rockin' Tonight, Two of Us, Mama, You're Just on My Mind. I think you mean Mama, You've Been on My Mind, which is a Bob Dylan cover. Back to Commonwealth, White Power, Promenade, Hi-Ho Silver, For You Blue, Let It Be, Tennessee. So really good collection of songs here. The quality varies, but it's still very nice to kind of have that fly on the wall perspective. Cool gatefold here as well. Really nice package, and this is in fantastic shape. I mean, this is probably, I think this was a like mid to late 70s release, and to have it in pristine condition like this, I could not believe.
That's because I'm a Beatlemaniac.
Has some more 80s classic metal, and this is a record that I had heard because my friends had it on cassette back in the day, but it just wasn't my cup of tea at the time. But since that time, I got it on cassette actually a couple of years ago and really liked what I heard. But just never actually got the record itself. I'm talking about Cinderella, Night Songs. Really like the tracks on here. Like Shake Me, obviously, was big. Night Songs, a title track I like a lot. Nothing for Nothing is great. Nobody's Fool is a fantastic band. I mean, I'm already probably not telling you anything you don't already know, but glad that I picked this up. It's a reissue, so it's not an OG or anything like that, but I need to get more Cinderella in my collection as well. This is another artist that I've been upgrading my catalog on and also adding some stuff to the collection. The records that I had by him, I don't want to say they were beat up, but not in the greatest condition. So I ended up buying some of the reissues of this artist. And along the way, I picked up some albums, or an album that I didn't have before. And that is his, I think it was 2003, his album Up, which I used to have on CD and then it kind of disappeared. And so I repicked this one up. And it was a long time between this and Us, which was his previous studio album. Although I think The Passion might have come after, I don't remember, was it So and then The Passion and then Us, or Us and then The Passion, but it doesn't really matter. But in terms of like pop music, Peter Gabriel solo stuff, this was chronologically the studio album that followed Us, and it's a little more kind of industrial sounding, I guess. It sounds very much of the early 2000s, but I do like it. It's kind of got some moody moments, some more up-tempo stuff, but it's one that I'm glad is part of my collection. Now I got to get, I know he came out with something, is it O/I or something like that? There's two different mixes of that, so eventually I got to get around to picking those up. I got to get the Birdie soundtrack and some live stuff here or there, but anyway, great record, glad I found that one. These are two records I've never owned in any format, never owned them on cassette, never owned them on CD, but I've always liked the music that I've had or that I've heard off of these records. And at the time, I just wasn't really into this particular band except for their first record, which everyone was. I'm talking about Guns N' Roses, Use Your Illusion 1 and Use Your Illusion 2. I've had my eye on these, honestly, for a while because, like I say, I've liked everything that I've heard off these records, and I do have Appetite for Destruction, don't have Lies, but I've also got the greatest hits, so I'm kind of expanding my Guns N' Roses collection as well. That's my pickups. Hope that you're having a great weekend. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Thanks for watching, and take care.
Bob Marley, a poet and a saint,